Ms. Carey, you are suing your former husband, Mr. Darian, for $1,000 for therapy for your son because, according to you, that therapy was caused by his actions. How long were you two married?
We're married for about 5 years.
Okay, and how old is your child?
Our child's 7 now.
Okay, and the child, what's the child's name?
Skylar.
Skylar. So what happened here? Your husband bought your child a pet, apparently without your consent.
Yeah, we've been separated for 2 years. We had an agreement that we would discuss anything that happened in our individual households that might pertain to each other. He had bought Skylar...
That might pertain to the child, you mean?
Might pertain to the child and each other. Like if the child came over, like if I put Skylar into piano lessons,
right,
then I would tell Fred,
okay,
so that that he could also practice at Fred's house.
Okay.
So I thought if he got Skylar a hamster, he would tell me. However,
right,
he didn't tell me. And Skylar had...
Why didn't you tell her? That's kind of something that would come up, right?
Yeah, Your Honor, we agreed to discuss things that were big. That were, big, like, Skylar got straight A's, or Skylar's going to a new grade. We didn't agree to discuss small things, and...
You consider the purchase of a pet a small thing?
Purchase of a hamster.
Of a hamster, right. Except you told Skylar not to tell his mother. Is Skylar a boy or a girl?
Skylar's a boy.
You told Skylar not to tell his mother.
Well, this was exclusively a dad and son activity.
No, but yeah, see, if it's not a big deal, what difference does it make if he tells his mother? Why would you tell him to keep something from his mother?
I didn't explicitly tell him not to say, and I figured that
you did. You admitted you did.
I knew that he's a kid, he wouldn't really listen even if I did say that.
But you did say that to him, didn't you? You told him, don't tell your mother.
Yes, because she likes to make big deals out of really small things.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. When we're deciding whether the hamster is a big or a small deal, maybe mentioning it becomes more of a thing that you should have done, because you know that somehow she's going to overreact. So you not only don't bring it up when it sounds like you should, you also tell your child to lie to his mother, which is like a special kind of evil. Don't do that, ever. That is a really, really bad thing to do, to tell a child to lie to the other parent. That's awful, especially when you're like in a situation like this where it's already stressed and you're trying to co-parent effectively. Nothing can tube your efforts to co-parent faster than starting to tell the kid to lie to the other parent. But what happens? The hamster's supposed to stay at your house.
Yeah,
And did it?
No, it did not, but
So
I wasn't aware of that.
What did Skylar do?
So, I dropped Skylar off at his mom's place. I came back, and typically we feed the hamster in the mornings and whatnot. I wake up in the morning, I go down, I leave it some food. I assume that it's just playing in its cage like it normally does. It's in the corner, eating, hiding, whatever.
Except for you don't see the hamster.
I didn't see it, no, but I don't always see it when I leave it food, and it's usually there. So
But how big is the cage that you don't see the hamster when you leave it food? It's inches from your hand.
Yeah, it's really small, and there's a lot of those little flake things, those little
Yeah,
hay
but what do you
pieces.
think, that the thing burrows all the way under the flakes and you don't see any of it?
Well, sometimes it's in the corner hiding, right?
How
It's
long
hard
have you
to-
had the hamster?
Just a couple days.
Okay. So you don't see the hamster, and it doesn't occur to you that the child took the hamster?
No, it doesn't, but...
Okay, you tell me, what ends up happening, Ms. Carey, at your house?
Well, so I picked Skylar up from school that day. We hug hello, sweet hello. Skylar, I guess, had snuck the hamster over to my house in his backpack. I had no idea. Then Saturday morning, I'm making breakfast downstairs because Skylar and I have pancake breakfast together. And so I'm getting everything ready, like cutting the strawberries. I suddenly see this thing scurrying around the kitchen, and I start screaming. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, our house is very clean, and I'm a very clean person. So I get very startled and reactionary, and so I start throwing things. Like, I throw the spatula, then I have to turn off the burner. Like, there's just so much going on now that this rodent is running around. And I grab the salt shaker.
You couldn't tell it was a hamster?
I couldn't tell it was a hamster. I thought it was a rat.
Okay, we should start off by defining small things, because what's considered small for one person could be a big deal for the other. And to me, the defendant, the father, doesn't have it straight. So to him, getting straight A's is a big deal that has to be shared. However, getting a hamster is not. And to me, what are you talking about? Small things. Are we talking about size? Are we talking about importance? Are we talking, what exactly are we talking about? To me, getting straight A's, it's something that's expected of the child when he or she goes to school. To be able to do good at school, it's something that you should do no matter what. If you're going, if you're starting, if you're learning, that's what you should do. However, getting a pet, regardless of how small or big, is a huge responsibility. There are things that are involved about caring for that pet. And to me, it's a big thing, even if it's just a hamster. Some people can think that getting a fish is a small thing. But if we talk about taking care of the fish, it is a very time consuming thing. So, from my standpoint, we should start by defining a small thing or a big thing. And that's something that's been lacking in communication between the mother and the father. Back into the courtroom.
Because they look a little different. Not terribly different, but they do look different.
Yes, they do, but I started just kind of freaking out.
So what did you throw at the hamster?
I threw a salt shaker.
Okay.
Which did end up killing the hamster. And
where's Skylar while all this is happening?
So Skylar's still in bed because I surprised him with pancakes. Like, it's 8 a.m. He's still asleep.
Well, pancakes aren't the only thing you surprised him with, though.
You're right.
So Skylar comes down when he hears a commotion.
Skylar hears me screaming.
Yeah.
Skylar comes downstairs, sees his hamster dead on the floor.
At this point, did you realize it was a hamster?
Not until Skylar sees the hamster. Skylar starts screaming and crying hysterically.
And what was he saying?
Skylar says, my hamster Penny, my hamster Penny. I'm like, you have a hamster? And he's like, Dad, Dad. And I'm like, what? Tell me. He's like, Dad bought me a hamster and I brought it over here because I didn't want to leave it.
And where did he put the hamster? And why did he take the hamster out of there? I know he's 7 and that's the answer, but why did he take the hamster out of Dad's house when told not to, when told this is a dad house pet? It's a lot.
Exactly, and he shouldn't have had the hamster in the first place or lied about it. And so obviously a 7-year-old is not that responsible for taking care of a pet. Like, there was no cage for the hamster at my house.
Yeah.
Like, Skylar had the hamster for about just from Friday till Saturday morning.
At your house?
At my house.
Well, did you ever talk with Skylar and find out where he was hiding it and what his game plan was?
He was hiding the hamster in his bed that night.
In his bed?
Yeah, he was just sleeping with the hamster.
Like, wait, the hamster's not going to stay in the bed.
No, he was just sort of keeping it at the bottom,
he's 7.
under all the blankets.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. He was just being a kid, know?
Right.
He didn't really have any foresight.
He must have been so upset when he saw the hamster.
He was so upset, and I felt so guilty.
Okay. And so you took him, apparently you spoke to his pediatric doctor who said he should go to therapy.
Yeah, so Skylar wouldn't go to school on Monday. So Sunday, I tried to take him to the fair. Skylar was just so upset at me, at himself, at his dad. It started sort of escalating into this whole thing of why did you and Dad get divorced? It really sort of kept piling on itself. And Skylar just kept crying. And Monday, he wouldn't go to school. And so then Tuesday, I called. His pediatric doctor recommended that I take him to a child psychologist.
And did you take him?
Yeah. So I couldn't get an appointment until about a week later.
All right. Once you took him, you had him see the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Psychiatrist or psychologist?
Psychologist.
Okay, the psychologist. And you got a price and everything else, right?
Yep.
And then you called Dad to say our kid is seeing a therapist.
Well,
he didn't tell you about the hamster, but you didn't tell him about the therapist.
I had actually reached out to him, asking him to split the therapy with him, me.
But you had already met with the therapist.
Completely, yes. I had kind of on our initial call when I got mad at him about getting the hamster in the first place, I said, I'm going to put our son into therapy. And he was just busy because he's an accountant and he's always just prioritizing work. And so he's like, okay, Elizabeth, whatever.
If he prioritizes work all the time, then no wonder they got a divorce. The other thing that I noticed about this case is the father asked the son to lie to the mother about the hamster. And I don't understand why. A 7-year-old doesn't have a judgment yet of good and bad. It's still something they're learning about and figuring out for themselves. And to me, there are good secrets and there are bad secrets. We all know that, right? There is a book and we all read it to our children. And to me, something that doesn't lead to a huge surprise, a party preparation, present, or something to that matter is not a good secret to keep. And what was the initial reason to keep it a secret from the mother? Did he know that she's not going to approve, or they wanted to present a hamster maybe as a gift to the mother at some point later on? I don't know what the point is, and we didn't get to the bottom of it. But that would be the first question for me to figure out why. And the judge is right. It's not good for the kid to keep a secret from another parent. And to me, it sounds like he was ready to burst. He really wanted to share this exciting news with his mom, and the father prevented it from happening. Back into the courtroom.
Do you feel any blame for anything that happened or no?
Look, I feel really bad to what happened to my son.
Yeah, but that wasn't my question. I asked if you felt like you can blame yourself. Do you feel like you contributed to this whole thing, or you feel like it was all her doing that caused the problem?
Maybe I should have mentioned the hamster. I do feel sorry about that. But she's ultimately the one that killed it. What kind of person throws a bunch
person
of...
who thinks it's a rat?
But what
I mean,
kind of
she's
person,
panicking and, you know.
I mean, you said it yourself. It's pretty easy to tell the difference between a hamster and a rat.
It's not. I don't know
She
if it's
said
that
it's
easy. I
kind of
said that.
easy.
I do feel like they look different, but they look different when you put a picture of one and a picture of the other in front of me. They may not look that different when they're in my kitchen. So why is he having to pay the whole thing if you guys agreed to split things?
Because initially I asked him for half and he disagreed, and I have a picture.
So now you got to
of
punish him? Don't you feel? Let me ask you the same question I asked him. You don't think like part of it might be your fault?
I do feel very guilty for killing the hamster, yeah.
And his doctor suggested that it would be in his best interest. Then you folks have rules for this. It's called your divorce decree, where you're supposed to be paying half of his necessary medical bills. Nobody sits around saying, who gave him the cold? That's
Right.
not how it works. It's the child needs it, and you're both supposed to pay half. As luck would have it, you're both kind of responsible anyway, because you apparently have a child who's going to smuggle a hamster. This is something that you maybe should have predicted and checked for the hamster and frisked him before he left your house, I don't know, and made sure that the hamster was there. So you have some complicity in this too, especially, I really hate the fact, I don't think it has anything to do with this, but I hate the fact, well, maybe it does. Maybe that's half of what he wanted to go to therapy for. We don't know. But I hate the fact that you told, don't ever do that again. Promise me you're not going to do that again. That really hurts your kid when you tell your kid to lie to the other parent.
I promise.
Don't do that again. Okay. All right. I'm gonna the sessions were $1,000 total. I'm gonna order
Yes.
you to pay her $500, and each of you are gonna end up eating half of that, like you're supposed to. Okay?
I keep thinking about how traumatizing it was for the child to come out of his bedroom to find his hamster dead on the floor. I don't know why the mother failed to clean up or to cover it with something. I don't know, but once she realized that the pest, as she thought it was dead, why don't you come out and either cover up with something and find out that it's actually, in fact, a hamster? Because, yes, visually you can see that it's not a rat. And just put two and two together, then, yes, probably the son is the one responsible for the hamster being in her home. But yet again, I do not deny father's responsibility in what happened. He should have informed the mother right away. He maybe should have checked the cage a little bit more carefully to make sure that hamster was, in fact, inside the cage. What did you guys think about this case? Do you agree with the judgment? Please put it in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.